Well, she was the first American woman to run 7 marathons on 7 continents in 7 days. And now she is the race director for the World Marathon Challenge. Belmont's own Becca Pizzi now joins us. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
All right, so the concept of 7 marathons on 7 continents in 7 days blows my mind. How is this even possible?
Well, as a runner and a race director, it's really tough to pull off. We're crossing 16 time zones. We are ranging in temperatures from -15 to 90 degrees. And each run on each race has to be like clockwork, and you have to be prepared for the unexpected.
How did you get involved with this first as a runner before you now have this position?
I had a shot at making history, so I asked my daughter, Taylor, what do you think about this? And she was like, yeah, Mom, you can do it, you got this. And I took a year off and worked really, really hard and went to Canada to train. I bought a sauna to hot weather train, and I studied the courses, and I had a shot at making history of getting into the Guinness Book of World Records as an American female. And just to inspire the world, I thought, I'm going to go for it and do it.
How did the feeling of doing this as a runner feel different than when you ran any other marathon? And this is something, marathon running, you've done it in so many different parts of the country itself, but to then do the 7 in 7 days, I mean, what was the feeling after that compared to just doing a regular marathon, which is already obviously so hard?
Yeah, I guess the thing I didn't really realize is that I had never run another marathon on another continent, so that was very different for me. And at all times, it was run, eat, sleep, fly, repeat until we were done. And I just took one continent at a time, 1 mile at a time until I crossed the finish line.
And what is cool about this, right, as you mentioned, like there's so many different places that the runners end up going to. So for this year's challenge, where are they going to be running?
So we're going to do the meet and greet in Cape Town, Africa, and then the race begins in Antarctica. Then we have 168 hours to finish. So we go on to Cape Town, Africa, Perth, Australia, Dubai, Madrid, Fortaleza, Brazil, and the race ends in US, Miami.
It's incredible. And you just think also like about the temperatures of all these different places, and you can relate to it obviously because you've done it before. You go to Antarctica to run. I mean, what is that experience like to be in a place like that, trying to run, you know, over 26 miles?
I've been to Antarctica 6 times. It's my favorite place in the world.
Favorite place in the world? I
love it. You're running on a glacier in Antarctica. It's wild. You can hear a pin drop, and it's really a fun place. Every time I touch down in Antarctica, I feel really lucky to be running there. I think it's really pretty and pristine, and you have to wipe your shoes when you're getting off the plane. It's awesome. I really love it.
How do you even prepare for a spot like that that's so cold?
I went to Montreal. I flew into Montreal, went to the Marriott, and I would say, if I'm not back in 4 hours, come find me. And I went to EMS Sporting Goods, and I got what they climb Everest in, and mostly it's windproof. And when you're racing in Antarctica, we've had a very cold week in Boston here, so it's very similar. You're running in negative temperatures, and it's just keeping your toes warm and your hands warm and your head warm. And just don't break stride, keep running. Just keep running until you cross the finish line, and look around. It's a beautiful distraction. It's really, really unbelievable. We're drinking warm water because cold water would freeze, so it's a little bit different, but it's pretty unbelievable.
You know, I think about the evolution of any runner. You know, maybe they first want to do a 5K, then they'll do 7 miles, then they'll do a half marathon, then they'll do a full marathon. When you accomplish something like this, does it feel like there's nothing else to do? Because you've kind of hit the mountaintop, so to speak, by doing this crazy challenge that only so few people can do.
Kind of. There's always crazier ways to hit that next goal, and I'm always looking for things to do. I love to run. I love to travel. It's been an incredible journey for me. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, and again, I think it's so cool that you, having done this, now become the race director of this. I want to cater the last couple questions to people that follow you, but also maybe run just a marathon. You know, what's the best bit of advice that you would give to somebody that is trying to run a marathon, maybe for the first time?
My biggest piece of advice is sign up for a race. Nothing will scare you and inspire you and motivate you than once you're signed up. Once you sign up, you are ready to go, and you maybe call in some accountability buddies to train with you, run the race with you. Start with a 5K, then go to 10K, then go half marathon, and when that feels good, run a marathon.
All right, so get out there, run a race. That's or sign up for a race. That's the first step you have to do. A couple more things for you. You know, a lot of people in this area saw former Bruin Zdeno Chara run the Boston Marathon, and people were so excited to see that. What people may not know is that you helped him train for that. How did that come about?
Mutual friend Ben Rowitz called me up and said, "Would you like to train Zdeno Chara he wants to get into running?" And I met with Dave McGilvery and Z, and he was awesome. He's very coachable. He is so loved in the Boston community. It was like running the Boston Marathon by his side was a parade for him. It was so fun. He knocked it out of the park. He raised over $33,000 for our friends at Team Hoyt and Tommy Smith Foundation. So that was really awesome and inspiring. And he's since then, over the last year, has run 3 Ironmans and 9 marathons, and he's killing it. So it's really fun to be his friend and watch him hit his goals.
That's incredible, too. A final thing for you, because we've had a chance to cover your story, you know, through the last decade as you've built up to this point. Now you're being the race director of the World Marathon Challenge. You've completed a marathon in all 50 states. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite one that you've done? I'm not going to let you say Massachusetts, Boston, Boston Marathon specifically. So you have to choose something outside of Boston.
Besides Boston, Jackson Hole, Wyoming. It was my 50th state, and we brought 50 friends and family to the finish line. The race gave me bib number 50. I crossed the finish line. My dad and husband were holding the finish line tape. I had won the race, and my daughter was by my side, and that was very memorable for me. Someday I will never, ever forget.
That's awesome. And the reason I wanted you to not choose Boston is you are a Massachusetts girl, woman through and through. You grew up in Belmont. I know you still live there now. What does Belmont mean to you?
Oh, it's my hometown. We're 6 generations living in Belmont. The community's always asking me, what are you up to? How can we support you? I coach at the Belmont High School cross country and indoor and outdoor track, and I love it. I will never leave.
There you go. She's never leaving, guys. That's the good thing. All right, well, Becca, thank you so much for being here. It's been awesome to see your story and get to this point now where you're the race director of the World Marathon Challenge. Again, it's 7 marathons on 7 continents in 7 days. Crazy stuff, but you've done it twice, and congratulations for all your success.
Thanks, Joe.